Another thing, and we just talked about this a little bit, is resource guarding. I'm going to throw aggressiveness there with it, and this is where people really call me a lot on. I mean, it's sad. In the last 2 weeks, I have had 3 different dogs put down because I couldn't take them. And they didn't come to me, I didn't put them down. I had to personally tell 3 different people that they had to put their dog down because I couldn't take him. 2 of them, one of them was a Weimaraner, one of them was a Vizsla, and one of them was a wire hair. There's one dog in Florida right now that I just got a message on last night that's 5 years old that attacked their 1-year-old son that they want me to take. There's a dog on the east side of the state that attacked a kid and attacked 2 other dogs that they want me to take. I have a list of 11 dogs right now that want to come to me, and 9 of them are aggressive. And I'm not going to pretend like I'm the pro when it comes to this. But what I will tell you is I've had plenty of dogs like Boone that have had these tendencies. And one of the biggest things, and it sounds really simple, and I almost sound stupid saying it, but it's the reset button. That dog gets out of that situation, out of that home, and comes to me. And 9 times out of 10, I don't see those issues. I have to push that dog to get those issues to come out. And if I never push that dog, I would never see those issues. So I ask myself a lot of times, okay, so what is the problem? One thing that I do every time, and it's hard because I don't have any inside dogs. All my dogs are out in the kennel building, but I bring my dogs inside on a daily basis. A different dog comes inside because I want to test them out and have them around the family and socializing. So, Boone yesterday, I brought him inside, and I've got a 2-year-old boy that's got toys everywhere. I've got a 7-year-old boy that's got Pokemon cards everywhere. And I've got my wife trying to pick up the mess behind him, right? Because I'm out training dogs. So I bring Boone to the front door and I say, sit. He sits. I open the door and I wait. First thing I do is I look inside, I look at my kids and say, get on the couch. And they all know, everybody gets on the couch. And I look around at all the toys and I'll walk Boone inside on a leash. And I'll look at all the toys on the ground and okay, yeah, you're going in the office. You're going in the dog safe zone, I call it. So I've got a big office. I open the door, let Boone off the leash, he goes in my office. And I feel like a lot of times these dogs that are aggressive, that resource guard, there are very simple things like that that could have been done to solve this issue. We talk about food aggression and crate aggression or crate resource guarding or anything for that matter. A lot of times that dog views that as his personal property. And what we try to do is break the dog of that. So I don't like to touch the food. I don't like to, I tell everybody, and you guys just seen Sandy last week, she tells me all the time, she's like, if you went to Texas Roadhouse and you ordered a porterhouse steak and you were sitting there and you had the knife and the fork and I walked in that restaurant, walked right up to you without saying a word to you, grabbed that steak and bit into it and took a bite of it and you went to say something to me and I said, no. She looks at me, she said, would you sit down and listen to me or would you be a little pissed off? I'd probably be pissed off. You don't need to play with your dog's food. There's no reason to do that. I never need to touch my dogs. I never need to touch their food. Every time I feed my dog, I go in to feed my dog, I say sit, they sit, I put the food bowl down, I shut the door and leave them. I don't need to play with the food. Your kids don't need to play with the food. Your grandkids don't need to play with the food. But with these dogs that are food aggressive, a lot of times I take a prong collar, I put them on them. I put a food bowl down. I don't tie them up. You see a lot of YouTube videos, and there's a lot of them out there, and most of them are junk. But you see people tie a dog up to a leash that they can barely reach the bowl, and then they'll sit there and play with their food. And if I do this for 3 days, this dog's going to be fine with this. No, because the second that leash is off and that dog's not contained, guess what he's going to do? He's going to go right back to his old behavior because now he's not contained. So you're not solving anything. You're putting a Band-Aid on it by making sure the dog can't reach you to bite you. So I take a bowl of food and I put it in the middle of the floor and I walk Boone by it. And the first time we did that, we got about 10 feet away, and I seen his ears move a little bit, and I seen him kind of with the corner of his eye look at me. And I stopped right there. And I said, sit. And I taught Boone right there, 10 feet away, that food's mine. You don't touch it. You don't get it. And I turned around and I walked back. And we did that day after day after day, till I'm right beside the food, my foot's right beside it, and I can say sit. Again, I'm not going to touch the food. I don't need to. I can say sit. I can reach down and touch him, pet him, take the leash off his collar, and I say, okay, now you can eat. And that's how I do resource guarding with food. I don't need to touch the food. I want to be in control of it though. Same thing with the crate. A lot of times if a dog is crate aggressive or resource guards that crate, anytime they resource guard anything, they want it. So a crate, to a lot of these dogs I've had, the resource guard a crate, you open a crate door and they're in it. Like that's their place. They turn around, they're in it, and they're looking right at you because they're going to get you if you come near it. So same thing with the crate. I open the crate door, I walk 10 feet away. As soon as I see that reaction, we sit down. And I do that over and over again until we're walking by the crate and he's not going in the crate. And I tell you when to go in the crate. Most of us would love a dog that would just jump in a crate. God, I would pay for a dog that would love to just jump in a crate. Most of mine, I say crate, and they'll get the first half of their body in there, and then you got to pat on the butt and they'll go in there. But I want that door open, and I want that dog to not want to go in that crate until I say crate. So that dog that's been resource guarding the crate, and that's his, and you're not going to get near it. No, I want you to be like, I'm going to sit down, and now I'm going to wait for you. Okay, I can go in the crate now. Now you can go in the crate. It's that same way with everything. I've got a Springer Spaniel right now that is with me because he resource guarded awful. I mean, anything, if that dog found a sock on the floor that he thought was his, you better not try to take it away from you because he'll bite your head off. And I called him Chunky Charlie, big old boy. I mean, he looked like a barrel with twigs for legs. And the first week I had him, I kind of felt him out and figured out that they were kind of just tiptoeing around the issue. So if your house is cleaned up and there's nothing he can get, you don't need to worry about it, right? But there's going to come a time when, God forbid, your grandkids are over or your kids are there and they drop something and Charlie wants it. Charlie's going to go get it and your kid's going to reach down and they're going to get bit. So we have to address this issue and we have to work with it. So the first thing I did with Charlie, I mean, he's been at my sister's for a long time too, is it's as stupid as a sock. He loves socks. They're his. Every sock in the house is his. They're not yours. So throw a sock in the middle of the floor. And I walk Charlie by and he sees that sock and I hit him with a choke collar or with a prong collar, say, sit, leave it. And leave it is the command I teach every one of those dogs. If you've got a dog, that Vizsla that came running out of the truck, he was the same way. I taught him, the guy told me that if you saw him take a bone, you could walk up to him and take that bone away. But if it was something he wasn't supposed to have and you tried taking it away from him, he became an animal. I thought, this can't be right. So I put a bone on the counter. I turned around and I hear him take it. I turn back around and I look. I'm like, I think his name was Blue. I said, Blue. I walked up to him. What's he do? He turns right around, gets like this, starts growling at me. That's weird. So, okay. I have no control of this situation, right? I haven't trained him yet. So he's going to do what he's going to do. So I waited till he was calmed down, walked over there, got the bone when he wasn't looking. And then I put the bone on the counter and I watched it. I said, get it, Blue. He jumped up there and got it. I walked up to him and he's wagging his tail. Well, this is just weird, right? But for some reason, he would take something that wasn't his and he thought, this is mine. You didn't see me take it. So the leave it command is the command I always teach these dogs. And half the time when they're in the house, I'll have a 6-foot leash on them. And I have something to have control. And I'll train these dogs. They'll take that bone, they'll take whatever, and I'll walk past them and I'll grab that leash. And as soon as you get that leash on, they feel that, oh crap, yep, he's got me now, right? And I can jerk that leash a little bit and say, leave it. Bring him closer, leave it, bring him closer. And usually with that type of system, when I have that leash on them, they feel that I have control, they'll start learning. And that leave it command is a big one. If I can get a dog to leave it and not get bit, I'm happy with that. And that's how I do a lot of my toy resource guarding. Any item, anything that dog thinks is his, we do the leave it command. And that's what Charlie's been doing. We've had Charlie for about 5 weeks now. And Charlie can be in the middle of the room and grab something he's not supposed to have and leave it like that. And he'll look at you, drop it, and walk away because he knows. And that's not only going to save his life, but that's going to save the life. My sister has 2 young kids that he lives with. They haven't had any issues because he's learned that leave it command. And everybody's on the same page that knows. Charlie touches something, you slap your hands, you say leave it, he drops it and he walks away. And don't touch it till he walks away.